Welcome, everyone, back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Geass episodes 8 and 9, I believe. Last time, Lelouch failed against Cornelia, his elder sister, in battle, and had to be saved by C2. And now we're going to see what happens in this next little bit of the story. He says that he's going to create a people, a nation, organization that he can rival Britannia with, even if it's on a smaller scale. So yeah, we'll see how he gets into this. What are you thinking so far of the show?
I like the show so far. I don't know what exactly is going to happen next, but I really like the dynamic between all the characters and how they're all kind of doing different things without knowing the real identity of anyone. Obviously Lelouch knows Colin's identity, but that's kind of it. And other than that, everyone's kind of in the dark. So I'm interested to see if more things are revealed to certain people, what's gonna happen, or are we gonna run into a problem where he needs to sort of erase someone's memory or use Geass on someone, but he's already done it. So are we gonna come to a point where that's a problem? And then what are you gonna just kill the person, or are you gonna deal with it?
We shall see. Leave a like and subscribe. Check out Patreon to get ahead on these as well as uncut reactions. Patreon.com/BOLDcast, link in the description. Let's go. Episode 8.
Meanwhile, his best friend from childhood, Suzaku Kururugi, has established himself as an honorary Britannian within the Empire. At this point, their lives are already...
And we got promoted as well. Cornelia promoted him.
Right.
...with inevitable outcomes.
I never left the Tokyo settlement before. This is my first time. I'm sure you wish Lelouch could have come with us, don't you?
Tokyo settlement.
Don't be so shy.
I wonder where they're going.
Nina, it's all right. There are lots of Britannian tourists at Lake Kawaguchi, so security's fine. Yes, but we'll be with you the whole time. We won't leave your side for a second.
She's really freaked out.
Yeah. Xenophobia. Mount Fuji. With that thing on the side of it.
What are you waiting for? Come in. As of now, this place will be our hideout. So,
What is this?
joining up with us at...
What?
This place that he found. It's so dripped out, all color coordinated and everything.
Up with us is a good idea? Yes. We're comrades after all. Holy cow.
I reconsidered it briefly, but...
I was going to get rid of you, but now...
You came by this? I borrowed it from a rather libertine nobleman who indulges my request.
Whoa.
You asked for it? Just like that? Don't worry.
Getaway
No
car.
strings attached.
Check it out, it's got a second story.
On the other hand,
That's pretty
no one would expect us in something like this.
How are things looking at the scene?
I'm
What's
here in
this?
front of the Lake Kawaguchi Convention Center Hotel.
Oh.
The hotel jackers have identified themselves as the Japan Liberation Front.
Oh, shit.
Members of the Sakuradite allocation meeting, most notably Chairman James, were taken hostage, as well as several
Sakuradite
tourists and
allocation
hotel
meeting.
employees.
Oh.
In it, you
We
can
can see
clearly
the
see Chairman
girls.
James, including
Yep.
some students.
From the student council.
That imbecile!
Sakuradite, an essential component.
Took
of the
matters into his own hands
high-temperature
with all the shit
superconductors,
going on with
is a
Zero and
strategic
everything.
resource that directly affects world security.
And Cornelia, acting out.
The largest
Yeah.
producer
So
of
then
this material,
one of their
providing
commanders takes
70% of
matters.
the world's total supply.
Wait, that was
Here,
really important shit that I was talking over. Sorry.
An essential component in the manufacture of high-temperature superconductors is a vital strategic resource that directly affects world security. Area 11 is the largest producer of this material, providing 70% of the world's total supply.
So yeah, that's all really important shit. That's one of the main reasons Japan was taken over by Britannia, was specifically because they discovered sakuradite, sakura, sakura trees, because it's mostly a Japanese product. It's what powers nightmares. It's what the main source of fuel. So think of it like oil in our world, basically.
Didn't
It's
they just say that it was mostly produced in Area 11?
Japan? Yeah.
We're in 12 in Japan.
Area 11 is Japan.
Is it?
11's.
Oh.
11's Japanese
I don't know
people.
why I was thinking 12.
I think you've been watching too much fucking Hunger Games.
I have been watching Hunger Games. That's
This is
why.
Area
okay,
11.
Okay,
This
good.
is Area 12.
Thank you for clarifying. 'Cause
Yeah, so that's why it's called sakuradite, because it's also a pink oil, basically.
Okay.
But it's also conductive, and it's basically super powerful nuclear material uranium style that powers nightmares, it powers like all military stuff and like cities and things like that.
Okay.
And they were trying to figure out who was going to get it.
This stand we're taking is for the freedom of Japan and our countrymen. You are the ones who rule and oppress us. Sit still, be quiet, and you'll be fine. If you don't... So they made their move.
The main utilities tunnel running directly beneath the convention center hotel. Basically, we would go in through this route, destroy the foundation block, and submerge the hotel. Since the tunnel was also built to handle supply deliveries, it should be able to accommodate Sutherlands. Even if the enemy has taken precautions, it should be no problem.
Who cares about rescuing hostages when we can kill the hostages ourselves?
Ryko, secondary startup. Both quad linkage legs locked. Super electromagnetic shrapnel cannon voltage confirmed.
These guys are getting
Super
fucked.
electromagnetic shrapnel cannon.
Guys have nightmare rifles. Super electromagnetic shrapnel cannon. Fire! What?
Yeah. Bye.
Shot! Yes!
It looks as though they've modified a Glasgow into a linear cannon.
Whoa.
Can break through.
That's pretty cool.
Glasgow, which is the one that Colin was using, the more rudimentary style.
She's...
If they learn that Princess Euphemia is among the hostages, they'll undoubtedly use her as a bargain.
It's a good thing that she hasn't announced herself just yet.
She's disguised just as a normal person, like kind of watching over the meeting.
So the Japanese still aren't being accepted enough into your structure.
If that were true, then what point would there be in even having an honorary Britannian system?
Sir, did your daughter appear to be...
Where do you want this?
Over there, by the driver's seat.
Hey!
Well, to control them easier,
Even
obviously.
more. Yeah. Give them something to aspire to within your structure that you made.
Yeah.
Hey! I want to know if I want to know if my daughter's all right. She hasn't done anything wrong.
Shirley's the redheaded girl.
We need to organize before we fight them again. And we can't just sit here and do nothing either. Knowing Cornelia, she'll sacrifice the hostages.
Yeah.
Why doesn't she make her move?
Oh.
Zero. What will happen to the hostages?
Mr. C, look.
Team 7. Situation change.
That's...
What are they going to do to him?
Don't do it.
Team 7. Situation changing.
That's fucked.
Therefore, we will throw one hostage from the roof every 30 minutes until our terms are met.
Dude's just asking to fucking die. What are you trying? What do you think you're gonna get out of this? Like,
Yeah.
Forget it. If you give in to their conditions even once, then you're simply legitimizing terrorism.
Then do
we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Pursue that course of action. Viceroy, it's Zero. We just received a message from Zero.
What do you mean Van 3 was stolen by Zero? What the hell was Gibson doing all the while? And where's Van 3 now?
Driving straight toward the military.
Huh?
We confirm it's Zero. We open fire. Stand by. We'll capture Van 3.
Hey, when Zero went off about justice earlier, what do you think he meant?
But we may die first before we find out. Seems all of our escape routes have been cut off.
I was wondering, why didn't we use that other vehicle? Oh, so you want the whole world to see where we hide out?
I don't know about this Zero character.
No, that's why I said he looks shifty to me. But if anything goes wrong, I'll do something about it.
sure thing there, Tamaki.
Cornelia. Much as I'd love
I just love the like pose. Like I
How he's just
yeah. It's just
standing like this
it's
to do
just
everything.
so dramatic.
And with all the lights,
uncalled
like,
for. Yeah.
I love whenever like he comes onto the scene. There's just like that, like that sound of the lights turning on. All the spotlights come on.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's just so good.
Are you a member of the Japan Liberation Front? Or perhaps you intend to help us? Regardless, our concerns take priority over yours at the moment. So for the death of my half-brother Clovis, I shall take my revenge right here.
Cornelia, which would you choose? Clovis, who is dead, or Euphemia, who is alive?
My suspicions confirmed. The first task at hand is completed. I haven't changed, dear sister. You've always doted on sweet little Euphemia. That's why you won't take aggressive action. Your emotions are getting in the way.
It's within my power to save Euphemia for you.
What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I said that I'm able to rescue her.
Zero, you say?
Yes, sir. Let Zero pass. I repeat, let Zero pass.
I'm liking.
What?
Sorry, one sec.
Either the Japan Liberation Front will accept me as their ally, or they're going to treat me as nothing more than a nuisance. I highly doubt that they can't resist the temptation of meeting the infamous Zero. We shall see.
I like that. I didn't realize back in the day when I was watching, but like there are themes like this that sort of course through the whole series, but like each episode kind of has a specific theme and arc to it that is like they're exploring like a different idea. Like this episode's whole thing seems to be like personal emotions versus like cold calculated systems and everything. And so they use a hostage situation to deal with that, where like lives are at stake, but if you're just following the cold calculated nature of our military and government, and then you just let all the hostages die. But you can't just do that. That's not how it works. So then your emotions conflict with what you should do as a organization. And I don't know, it's just like, and then Suzaku's comment about that, about how he prefers the logic of systems to people's emotions, and then they kill the guy and he immediately gets super emotional and wants to jump in, and it's like, you know, just they're really exploring that. And really cool.
Also like how Cornelia would just kill all of the hostages, except there's only one that she cares about. So now she's not
somebody
gonna do,
so
like,
logical and so strong.
She would just kill thousands of people, but even her own like it made sense when she was killing all the 11s because she doesn't care about them. Yeah, but she doesn't even care about the Britannians unless it's her one sister, the only person that she would probably, you know, give a pass to and save. Because even if it was one of her other siblings, she might just be like, well, I have 500 of those. Take them down. Yeah. Like, you know.
I just like how they're really exploring that as well through the episode.
What are we doing?
I believe that by letting Zero go in, we can buy some time before the next hostage is executed. So, this is our chance. We can hit them both at the same time.
Wonderful! I want to thank you for that lovely order. They said you've got the green light, Lancelot. You've orders to charge right into that linear cannon in the tunnel.
Wait a minute. You mean they're using him as a decoy to make an opening for them?
Like they'll use the confusion to send in the royal guard.
But
Miss Cecile, I'm ready. Please let me do it. If
All
Lancelot
right.
and I are needed, and I'll do it. Even if it means being a decoy.
Ugh. Directly, you saw the fucking tunnel situation there with the super electromagnetic cannon.
Yeah, that's rough.
Officer Kururuki and Lancelot will use the utilities tunnel to move under the hotel. Once on site, you will destroy the foundation block and submerge the building. The area with the hostages should hold out for 8 minutes. Hostage rescue and mop-up of the terrorists will be handled by other units. You will be using the Varus to destroy the foundation. Set the impact rail to anti-material level 3.
The only variable in this is that pesky linear cannon waiting for you in the tunnel.
Say another variable is like it falling over sideways or something, and the hostage is all dying in 1 minute instead of 8.
They've calculated that it would fall straight.
Space is tight in there. The Lancelot will only have a 47.8% evasion rate.
Are we really going through with this?
Yep. Make sure you both pull out of there before it's too late. Lancelot might be wrecked. That will be unacceptable.
I guess they don't know what's down there.
They know exactly what's down there.
Oh.
They sent guys down there earlier.
Yeah, but then they all got killed.
They said that they were sending him down against the cannon.
I guess so.
Suzaku, the President Anita and I are going to Lake Kawaguchi on Sunday. Want to join us?
Sorry, I have to work that day.
You do?
I guess it's lucky that he did have to work that day.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I hope all of you have a great time.
12 minutes to operation start. Commencing countdown.
Just to wait there for 12 minutes. That would suck.
What did you say?
At 11!
She says.
We're Japanese, damn it!
Yes, we're aware of that. Just lay off of her.
Then correct her. We're not called 11s.
Fine, we'll correct her.
How dare you speak like that to me? Come with me to the next room and I'll teach you a real lesson. I said get up now!
Stop it!
Who the hell are you?
Command you take me to your leader right now. Understand?
What?
No, Sub-Viceroy, please. You're addressing Euphemia Libertania, the third princess of the Britannian Empire.
Well, shit.
I'd like to ask you something. What exactly do you hope to accomplish by this action?
Gain attention. I want this country and the world to know that the Japanese aren't dead yet.
How stale. You people are obsolete. There's no saving you.
What? Why, you arrogant! Explain what you mean by that, Zero.
ME boost.
Lancelot now launching.
Here we go.
Water, end up like the rest. Super electromagnetic shrapnel cannon! Fire!
This line.
He doesn't want to play decoy, he's going for the goal.
Zero! There's no point talking anymore!
Not even like do anything else.
There's nothing else at this point.
I guess.
Calm yourselves.
Zero.
The Colonel and the others committed suicide when they realized how meaningless this operation was.
Because he commanded them to die.
You were willing to sacrifice yourself for the commoners. You haven't changed.
What? The A6 nightmare?
Yes, the rate it's going, it'll break through soon.
Do we dare hold out hope?
It can take this level of destructive force.
I love how he's like zooming in and then like dodging back.
Mrs. Seal, it's time for me to use the Varus.
No, you could get killed!
There's no room for me to evade. I'll risk getting blasted to take the first shot.
Why, you stinking son of a...
I heard that you're the sub-viceroy now, Your Highness.
It's not an appointment I'm happy with.
No, it's because Clovis was murdered. That was my handiwork. He begged pathetically for his life to the very end. He pleaded with the same tongue that ordered the deaths of 11s.
So is that the reason why you killed my brother?
No,
Then why?
because Clovis was an offspring of the Britannian Emperor. That reminds me, you're one of his children too, aren't you?
Use maximum output! I don't give a damn! Guns! Even her down!
Right down the barrel.
Wow.
It's the 11.
Holy shit. That was very accurate.
He's extreme. He's
I guess so.
94%, bitch.
You really did it! Guilford!
Now get in there, you guys.
Guilford! Da-da.
Just shoots him.
Nightmare from before.
Kills Yuffie as well. Oh shit.
My friends! Warrant Officer Kororuki don't!
He's all right.
I couldn't rescue them. They're dead. I failed. Not again.
We've got it.
My dear Britannians, have no fear. All of the hostages from the hotel are safe and sound. I, Zero, return them to you unharmed.
Of all the brazen audacity! If we attack you, those people will quickly become your hostages.
People, fear us or rally behind us as you see fit. We are the Black Knights.
Black Knights.
Isn't this awesome?
We of the Black Knights stand with all those who have no weapons to wield, regardless of whether they be 11s or Britannians. The Japan Liberation Front cowardly took innocent Britannian civilians hostage, and they mercilessly executed them. It was a wanton and meaningless act. Therefore, they have been punished.
You heard me right. I said let it run.
We could not stand by and allow such cruelty to be carried out, and so we made him pay for his actions. I will not repudiate battle on a fair and level field, but neither will I tolerate a one-sided massacre of the weak by the strong. The only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed. Forever oppressors abuse their power by attacking those who are powerless. We shall appear again, no matter how mighty, how formidable our foe may be.
Knights for justice.
Those of you with power, fear us. Those of you without it, rally behind us. We, the Black Knights, shall be the ones who stand in judgment of this world.
What did you think of that episode? Before we move on to the next one.
I like how he just like got them so much gear, like got them all like matching outfits and decided to like just really like play it all to his advantage of like I'm not just against Britannia, I'm against anyone who is like hurting innocent people, because that's actually better for him, because it like can like appeal to a broader audience as someone who's like trying to gain
can appeal
support.
to like Britannian people who are feel kind of guilty about being Britannians in Area 11.
Or just like Britannian citizens who like
are kind of on the fence.
Yeah, if they're not sure, or just
the moderates.
they don't feel like, you know, taking over the entire world and like
if
killing
you say
people
we
no
fight
matter what.
for the Japanese, any Britannians will die, then it's like, okay, well, you basically
the entire world is against you at this point, because the entire world is ruled by them.
But if you make the narrative about peace and justice and equality and stuff, then more people can get on your.
I do feel bad for like the rest of that group that
JLF.
was like not involved in that, and it was just like one guy and his like group who went off and did that, not like the entire organization of it. So it does kind of suck for them to like
lose a bunch
they're
of
just
their
like
force.
watching it like, oh my god, those are our guys getting completely fucked doing something that we didn't discuss or agree to,
and also yields nothing.
And
like,
doesn't
we want
do
people
anything.
to know. It's like, okay.
It's like they're just like, we want to remind them that we're here. It's like, well, how about you let them forget that you're here and then fucking strike them when they're not paying attention.
Yeah. Why are you constantly reminding them that you're a threat just so they can stamp you out? Like, it's so dumb.
Like, you're reminding them that you're a threat by being the worst threat. Like, you take a few hostages. If there wasn't one specific person in there, you all would have already been dead. They would have just bombed the building. Like, they don't care.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is they didn't want to be with Zero, like that guy. Like, he didn't. Yeah. He was like he's all about the pride of Japan, about, you know, their culture and everything, which is fine. But he was still stuck.
It stood in the way of him.
He abandoned the actual idea that they could win. That's what Zero's doing, is because like Colin, her whole group, like the idea of them winning was completely like impossible to them. They didn't even think it was possible for them to win their fights. They were just trying to agitate, and that's what this guy was stuck in. It's like he wasn't even considering a long game. He was just, this is our pride. We need to make a statement and make sure everyone knows we're here. It's like, that's not the way that you win, and the fact that you're doing this makes me think that you're all about the pride, all about the culture, and that's good, but it doesn't yield anything. It doesn't bring your people peace. It's just agitate. It's just terrorism, and that's not. It doesn't lead anywhere. You're not getting.
And it doesn't
there's no
actually help
chance of a
anyone.
future
It makes
based on what
them
you're doing.
hate you even more. Like, it makes all the Britannians
You're making an enemy of the citizenry
even more. Yeah, rather than them just like, you know, like slightly dislike you, or like, you know, you're inspiring fear in them, which would maybe be okay if you had a force large enough to actually like do something. But since you don't, and there's like 20 of you in this building, you have one good gun, but that's kind of it. Like, there's
it's literally a matter of time. Like,
you know.
like Cornelia, if Euphemia wasn't there, or even if Euphemia is there, Cornelia was just going to keep sending soldiers down that tunnel until they ran out of hostages, and then they would try to like snipe the terrorists or whatever, the JLF. Yeah, it was dumb. That was a dumb move, and I don't think that he even considered that he could win. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Okay, episode 9, Refrain, classic episode.
Oh shit.
Colin, I mean, miss, forgive me. I didn't wish to wake you. Again? I'm sorry. It was the stepladder this time. It broke.
Get it cleaned up. And be quick about it. I have to leave for school.
Mistress, you've been attending school quite a bit lately. Making any friends there?
I don't see how that's any of your business.
Just go, will you?
I know it's for
Yeah, it's sad.
welfare, but why waste it on the 11s?
Princess Cornelia is a soldier. This sort of thing doesn't interest her all that much.
Hit the lights! Turn them on! You're the...
Boom.
What? Yikes. Better be careful.
Yeah.
Lelouch is just sitting over there like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no, he's...
You could learn a thing or two from Lelouch. He's an expert at sleeping in class.
He's not sleeping now, is he?
I don't know what he's up to night after night, but he sleeps through about half of them these days. The EU is starting an
She's like,
offensive
he's
along the
still
L-
so suspicious, but I have nothing to back it up with.
what he's up to. The EU is starting an offensive along the El Alamein front. We can't go
The
on
EU
driving
is one of the
our
other
feet around
superpowers.
here.
What about the Black Knights and Zero?
I'll let them roam free a bit longer. I owe them that for saving your life. However, upon my return, once I've cleaned up this area, I'm entrusting it to you. Try to stay out of harm's way from now on. All right, Yuffie?
She wouldn't be too bad as a leader.
The Britannian Emperor.
I'm not kidding! Sorry, Lelouch, but it's the president's orders. Yeah, like you're not enjoying this at all?
Will you hold still? Good meowing. Good morning, I guess. Huh?
Good meow.
What do you mean? Didn't we tell you? It's our welcome party for Arthur.
That's so nice.
Officer, put aside for you.
Though he's not a cat. He looks like a bear or a dog.
She doesn't need a costume.
What?
You're already wearing a mask, right?
You really are a riot, you know that? You ought to be on television.
Like she's ugly. Instead of you're a terrorist and hiding.
The whole thing's a huge
You ought to be on television, she said.
question day and night. Even in the bath. We haven't been able to leave school grounds in a week.
Not that I don't feel for you, but
I like his outfit with the cat.
Upon this day, we die as one.
is that your idea of a love quote?
If I go down, then we all do.
That's a little dark. Right, Suzaku?
I'm glad. Yeah. We can all be together again. You know,
Oh.
like this.
I thought you meant if I go down, we all go down. I'm glad.
I'm glad to go down with all of you.
It's so funny to think I helped save their lives. Ever since we made our big splash at the hotel jacking, Knights have taken the world by storm, become a friend to the weak. Just as Zero proclaimed we would. Terrorists who involve civilians, an overbearing military, syndicates, corrupt politicians, and profiteers. If the law would not punish them, we would. In the blink of an eye, we'd become heroes. Support for us has swelled, and we've even gotten our hands on some nightmares again.
Those were like
No one
honorary
could show.
Britannian soldiers. You see that?
In the blink of an eye, we'd become heroes.
Like they're meeting out here.
Support for us has swelled,
Support, they all show up with all their gear.
and we've even gotten our hands on some nightmares again. Of course, no one could show that in public.
Don't pretend that you're a Black Knight. But why? You mustn't ever say anything against Britannia. We're 11s. Have you forgotten that?
Because our leader Zero had killed Prince Clovis. There are many in our ranks who wish to know his true identity, myself included. But if we push too hard, I suspect that he would vanish. Without him, I'm
We're
fairly
fucked.
certain we'd be finished.
Yeah.
Madam President, I just dropped by to give you something.
Huh?
Where would you like me to show her to? The parlor, perhaps? Or maybe...
We'll be in my room.
As you wish.
I heard you had a friend down here. I was sure it would be a boy, out all night and missing school. Not to mention all your visits to the ghetto. We're lucky your father's back in the homeland. No fighting one's blood, is there?
You're the one who's enjoying Dad not being around here, aren't you? Oh dear, what have I done?
She needs to get a new job.
Forgive me, milady.
Can't you do anything right? Besides selling your body, that is.
That's so
It's a
mean.
complicated home life you have.
She's just
isn't
really
it?
clumsy.
So what was it? Your transcripts since middle school. I thought I'd better give them to you off of school grounds.
So my secret's out then, isn't it? That I'm actually an 11 and Britannian half-breed. That was my stepmother down there. My real mother was that clod of a maid who knocked over the vase.
Yeah.
And your
That's
father,
so sad.
head of the
Yeah. And her brother died as a
and your
rebel.
father, Is he the head of the Stotfeld family?
My mother is such a fool. In the end, she wound up as servant. She doesn't have any real skills.
You really hate your mother, don't you?
I just find her depressing.
Well, this is getting a little heavy. Imagine the wife and the daughter and the other woman all
I
living
love
together.
Millie so much.
Could be worse. Square meals and a roof, right? I mean, it's not unbearable, most of the time anyway.
That's good. Still,
Sounds
some
pretty
things in life
unbearable
we
to
can
me.
make on our own, but when you add them all up, they eventually break you. Oh, don't worry. I won't lie. I'm always hungry for secrets, but I'd never talk about this.
Well, good thing the Black Knights were there to save him. That's all I can say.
Throwing it out there.
If they wanted to catch criminals, they could have joined the police force, you know. Why don't they, I wonder?
Yeah, why don't
'Cause
they?
that's
They probably don't think the cops are up to the job. I tend to agree.
The police may not be that effective right now, but they could evoke change from within.
Yeah, and in the process,
Yeah, in
they
like
get all tangled up in
200
red tape
years.
and bureaucracy.
If they had done everything in their power to change things, that might hold water. As long as they don't, then all of it's just self-righteous posturing.
Self-righteous?
And what constitutes evil in their eyes? What standards are they using? It's nothing but self-satisfying gratification.
This is way too real of a conversation.
I guess I gotta go back to the base pretty soon. See you around, Shirley.
Little wink as he leaves him alone.
So, Lulu, I was thinking if you had some time, you and I...
Back to base. Now that was an interesting choice of words. Go back, implying that's where he thinks he belongs.
She's just like, okay, guess I'll come back later then.
On 11, say something. You are sorry, aren't you? Bowing your heads is what you 11s do best, right? 11. Eating bad food makes us want to off somebody.
Lelouch,
No, there's 5 of them. You wouldn't stand a chance at all.
so you think I should just ignore it?
Take a good look at that 11.
Come on, what's the matter? Aren't you gonna be crying? Just say you're
If
sorry.
we intervene and help him win, he wouldn't be able to sell a thing tomorrow. It was his choice to become a Britannian slave. That's just the price you pay for working in the settlement.
Well, even so...
Problem over there. Not feeling sorry for this 11, are you? Nah, they feel the same way we do, don't you guys?
Not quite. But you're tired of beating up 11s now, aren't you?
You guys want to hit the arcade? I got no cash.
They got bored pretty quick, huh?
Very convenient.
Yeah.
Huh? A Britannian student. What can I get for you? How about a nice California hot dog race? Is this your boyfriend? I can get him something too. I have ice cream if you like.
In some ways,
It's
Area 11
so sad. It is so fucking sad.
better off now than the old Japan ever was. Being made a colony of the Empire has stabilized its military and economic position in the world. 11s can even attain full citizenship through the legal process. It's easy to become an honorary Britannian. Just a question of pride, really. Though, I can certainly understand why they'd resist.
And,
Hmm?
knowing all that, what does Lelouch Lamperouge think about it all? What do you want to do?
Nothing.
You know, you've got a lot of brains, but you don't seem to be doing much with them. It's all Shirley talks about, saying how intelligent you are, but how you barely ever apply yourself.
That's why I don't do anything. That 11 we saw back there could tell you. Could lead a better life as long as he bows his head to Britannia.
Holy shit.
You must think you're pretty cool, huh? Just playing the critic and judging the world from the sidelines? Guess I was a fool to expect anything more from you. You know, I really thought you were a better man than this.
She used it all.
So, about this orange thing. Sorry to bring it up.
Orange.
Is it true, though, that you can't remember anything about when the private Suzaku Kururugi was taken?
I don't expect you to believe me.
During the whole Shinjuku incident, I suffered some sort of memory lapse also.
You did?
Just starting to
By
put
the
it
time
together.
I regained my senses, my
A little bit.
Sutherland had been stolen. But right before that entire gap in my memory, I remember running into some high school.
So you think it was that student?
I can't remember his face, but there may still be a way to get to the bottom of this.
What the hell is Zero thinking? After
He used an
all this time about
alias
bringing down Britannia?
as well, so
But even still.
even still.
Still feels pretty good to have the will of the people behind us, though.
Yeah, he's right. We're totally heroes on the net.
Are we in the right? I don't know anymore.
Colin.
A lot of doubt this episode about like whether what they're doing is good or bad.
Yeah.
Because they keep talking about like how, like Lelouch just went on the whole thing about like how economically the country is doing better than ever and they're stabilized, this and that, but like there's all this shit about like just blatant racism. So like
Yeah.
the
Half the
devil you
people
know
are
versus the devil you
miserable,
don't,
yeah.
basically. Like you have like basically a really nice prison here right now where you're like safe but not really, because there's like Shinjuku and shit like that all the time.
Yeah, it's
But,
like oh, it's better than ever, except now
Except,
your
like,
own
a month
government
ago,
will just
people-
bomb you and
Yeah.
shoot you if they don't want you around anymore.
Yeah, you're completely
and
expendable,
that's
and even
fine.
and the only reason the honorary Britannian system exists is so that they can dangle a carrot in front of you to make you do what
Yeah,
they want.
because the way that it works for them is it's like if you don't go for that, well then they don't care about you because they're not going to change your mind,
And they can
so
discriminate
they can
against you
kill
openly.
you or do whatever they want to you,
Or they don't have to
And-
treat you as a person. They can
Yeah.
treat you as like a foreign invader, basically.
And then if they do go for it, well then you know that they're willing to do whatever you tell them to do, so you don't really have to worry about them too much.
Yeah, so like of course from the outside it seems like a pretty hunky-dory, but obviously it's not, because literally an entire 5 city blocks got completely destroyed like a few months ago, and people were getting murdered in their homes by the government. And then the same thing happened for no reason, because there was like suspected terrorist hideouts in a different place
Yeah.
to just replicate, just to bring out Zero. So they did the same shit
Yeah.
twice in a row. But there's just a lot of doubt, and they're getting into that a lot. And a lot of remembering the past, because that's what Refrain does.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like they dripped out the nightmare with like the
Yeah.
Black Knight goggles and shit. The hot dog
You
guy.
add them all up, they eventually break you. That's right, which is why I'm here.
It's dangerous to run like that.
Mother?
Really now, Dom, please. I need you to keep an eye on your little sister.
My God, how weak a woman are you, Mother? First you give in to Britannia, then to a man, and now this. My brother is gone forever. Let him go.
Oh my god.
The night police.
Watch out.
Sting operation. Oh no, they're in on it. They're paid off.
Corrupted filth.
See, now even the cops are paid off. So what does that
Yeah.
tell you about the system?
Shit.
Suzaku. Well, why don't you just let the police handle it? They're in on the
Yeah.
job too.
You're in the way. Damn it, I don't need you.
She's about to drop her. She can't fight back.
Colin, no, Dom.
It won't work on a nightmare.
Go on, run. Get moving, you idiot.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you, Colin, as I always have been.
Then that's why you stayed in his house. You stayed there for me. You fool. Or maybe I'm the fool.
That guy's fucking dead. That's the cockpit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a gruesome death.
I'm so happy for you. You can finally become a Britannian now, Colin. Nobody will ever be able to hurt you now, darling.
That's so
And
sad.
you're free to travel and use the phone anytime you want.
So
Use the phone?
is her mother?
False tears bring pain to those around you. False smile brings pain to oneself.
It's an after effect of refrain. She's unable to talk much. She'll recover eventually, but it will take time.
Mother, your sentence. You got 20 years. But you wait. I'm working to change things when you get out. I swear to you. I'll make a world where you and I can live a normal life again. Please, Mother.
Hang in there. Hang in there, Colin. My little girl.
Don't you worry. I will. I promise you.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So that's
That's
Refrain.
sad.
That's a classic episode. So yeah, she was obviously grew up as Colin Kozuki with her mom, because that's her mom's name, Kozuki, which is a Japanese name, and then Stotfeld was her dad's family name. So eventually she like moved in there when I guess the occupation happened.
Yeah.
And so that I guess her mom like wanted to protect her, so she brought them in there. But that also meant that her brother died. There was that, and then to protect them, she moved in there, and yeah, she's been a maid
It's
for
so
her.
sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad that like it's sad that that happened, and it's also sad that Colin was like I don't know, just kind of being like a shitty teenager in some ways, couldn't like figure out why her mom wouldn't just want to abandon her and never see her again and, you know, do something else.
Well, she's just always concerned. She's very prideful as a Japanese person. Like she has that pride that like those JLF guys were kind of freaking out about, and she doesn't want to bend to anybody because she lost her brother to this, and so she kind of frowns on her mom for taking like a subservient position rather than fighting. But she also doesn't lend her the same courtesy that she does to, say, the hot dog guy who like is doing the exact same thing, but isn't her family, or you know, whatever. And then once she sees them in the same light, she sees, wow, her mom was just trying to survive, just like all the other people living in the settlement
was just here trying to survive, and then became basically a drug addict.
Yeah,
because it was just so hard to have her
Cope.
daughter be screaming at her and calling her an idiot and just being put down all the time while being a maid to like,
and losing her son.
Yeah, her kid died, and then her other kid just is ignoring her and like acting like she's nothing to her, and then she's also having to be a maid, which is
and just trying to not, you know, take out her frustrations on her
Yeah.
daughter to
Yeah,
give
not-
her the best life. Like even if
And-
what she needs is to take out her
and not
frustrations on her mom.
Do anything to like jeopardize Colin's position like in the family.
Exactly.
Like, because if she
If
starts
she's outed
mouthing
as
off
Japanese-
to the stepmom,
Yeah.
then the stepmom's gonna be like, hey.
So she's just she's trying to protect her daughter, and that it's extremely stressful to be a full Japanese person as opposed to your daughter who is half Japanese, and by the way, really passes as a white person.
Yeah.
To the point where nobody even questions whether she's mixed at school. She just takes the Stotfeld name, and everybody just nobody even knows the difference. So, Colin can kind of be a chameleon. But her mom obviously doesn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's so much going on in this episode. It's so good. Lots of like
The cat part. Lots of like very deep little conversations.
Well, with Suzaku's thing there, it was pretty deep as well, because it was connecting like the last episode of.
Yeah.
He started crying because he was just so happy that everybody was okay. And then Lelouch and Suzaku's conversation is so cool there too, where he's like, go back to base. Like, as in this isn't where you belong, etc., etc.
And Suzaku just like really demonstrating his like naivety of like.
Naive idealism.
We'll just join the police. You'll make a change eventually.
Or just contact the police. Like, why don't they...
Yeah, why didn't they call the police? Well, or no, and then talking about the Black Knights. Well, if they really wanted to catch criminals, why didn't they join the police? It's like, well, as we clearly saw, the police are in on drug operations.
Yeah.
Like, just, you know... Just because they say that they're the police and they're, you know, doing the right thing doesn't mean that it's not full of corrupt people.
Yeah.
You're literally this entire government and everything under it is so messed up.
Yeah.
That even if you join the police and think, oh, maybe eventually in like 30 plus years when I'm the leader, I can do this. It's like, well, can you, or will you just get beaten down to the point that you lose motivation and become just as bad as the rest of them?
Exactly.
Because I'm sure, you know, some of these people in like positions have been like started out like, oh, I'm gonna make a change, and then it's like, well, maybe that's too hard, and
maybe it's just impossible.
Maybe I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna, you know.
And what does that say about, more importantly, what does that say about Suzaku, who's trying to do the same thing in the military? Like, is that where he's going to end up, or what does that mean for his arc? Time can only tell.
Is there anything that can sort of make him think like, oh, maybe I should just, you know, do what I want to do now, rather than slowly earning trust of people who are never gonna really respect me.
Yeah. Well, it's this one thing that I wish this episode, I'm not sure, it may or may not make sense based on where the story is going or what they want to do, but like what they did with this episode was sort of just highlight how depressing it is. But it seems like in a lot of times what they're going for is like this sort of regret or like fear of fear of missing out type thing of like, shouldn't we rebel, etc., etc. And like the big part of Suzaku and Lelouch's sort of dynamic is the like trusting the system versus being realistic or just fighting against the system, for both fighting for peace. But like this episode, it talks a lot about like both sides of the equation, but we never see the good side. We never see the good side of it, and it's like even before this. We see, like last episode, we just see people in, or maybe it was even earlier this episode, we just get those shots of the ghettos and like people, like a baby's crying, people are living under bridges, and that's just how people live in Japan. That's how the Japanese populace lives in Tokyo. They're living as homeless people in the ruins of their city. And then we have people in the settlement, specifically Lelouch, like sort of playing devil's advocate of like, oh, well, you know, the economy's this and that. The military is stable, whatever, all this shit. And like life is pretty decent. You can apply for citizenship, whatever. But we only hear that. And I think and we don't see that other side. And what we see is like with the night police being at the drug deal operation. It's like, they're in on it too. The system is completely rigged against everything.
Theory,
everybody is the product of the system.
Yeah.
It's not just the Japanese people living in the ghettos. It's the night police, the people who are supposed to be like running the city and keeping everything going. They're contributing to it because the system is rigged in a way where it's just so easy for them to do it, and there's no point in not doing it. So like the show, I think on purpose is showing like there is the system actually is fucked. The idea that like there's good in it at this point is completely wrong, and it just reinforces that in like a sort of a deeper way by showing like a specific look into the life of like somebody who lives on both sides, Colin, who can see who lives as a white person in the settlement and lives in the or who has family who is from the ghettos.
The whole like thing is like they're literally like the people that think that they're winning. It's literally because like 2 feet down the street, there's like thousands of people not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just suffering. And it's also like the thing with the police and like everything being in on like the like drug smuggling and shit like that. Like that, like, and then when you talk about like, oh yeah, it's fine, anyone can apply to become an honorary Britannian. It's like, or we could just drug them out and make money off of them and, you know, keep them over there so I don't have to look at them. It's, you know, like they say that you can, but they don't want you to. It's not in their best interest to have all the Japanese people, you know, come into their society and have freedoms. It's better to have them all like drugged out on the street, reliving their memories, and then that's even better to like then make people even more racist towards them of like, oh, well, they're just also useless and out on the street milling around. Like what, you know,
it's just oh, here's a chance for, well, let's see if everybody's you know, if they're productive members of society. Well, no, they're not. Look at them living out there in squalor and tents amidst rubble. How pathetic. And it's like, all right, now, didn't we do that? No, we didn't. Of course not. That's just how they live. If they were good, that they would do something about it. It's like, that's not fair at all. That's such
like
bullshit.
It's the same thing like in real life with like homeless people and like drug addicts and stuff that are out on the street. It's like, so they're not being productive members of society, but it's like anytime they're like, oh well, we gave them this, but then they didn't take advantage of it. So like, you know, now they don't deserve anything. It's like, well, you didn't actually do anything to like really actually help the problem. You just like said that you did like absolutely nothing and then expected something to happen. It's like,
you provided an opportunity for a better life, or in like an opportunity to fix one small thing in their life when the current of all the things in their life is like pushing them in a certain direction. You're just like, oh well, we gave you an out of one of the 9 things wrong in your life, so, and you didn't take it, so that was a choice. It's like, it's not a choice if I'm getting swept down the river by like 9 other insecurities and like fucking random things in my life. That's exactly what's happening here. And this episode has a lot of it's all about like doubt. It's all about like possible regret and like not knowing what the real thing is. It's like everybody's reconsidering like if what they're doing is right. And then Colin, of course, at the end, after seeing that the police are not on their side, after getting a very clear image with what happened with her mother and everything, and kind of piecing together a completely different perspective of like what she thought was her story. Like this whole other perspective of like that was running parallel the whole time. She gets the full picture there. Yes, this system is totally fucked if this happened to her. It's very much like, okay, all the doubt gone. I'm ready to like do this shit now. That's kind of what the episode's about. It's a really good episode.
I did also think that it was interesting with the Black Knights thinking like, oh, like this isn't what we were like doing. Like this wasn't what
this is what we signed up for.
Yeah, but like it's working. But we don't know the guy in charge.
Yeah.
But like we're gaining so much more ground than we ever have before, and like the public is in favor of us, so like that's something. And we're like, and the thing about it is like they are actually helping by doing these like little things so much more than like taking hostages in a building, like taking like whatever, like rich and like important hostages in a building and like making a big scene. They're just like, oh, we're gonna like bust this drug operation, we're gonna go in here and kill these guys who are like fucking people over.
We're improving the lives
we're gonna go in here. They're like it, like, at least for now, like we'll see like if they cross a line or like do the wrong thing and like accidentally like, you know, mess things up that negatively impacts the people, like what could happen with that. But it's so far doing stuff like this, it has proven to be a lot more effective than anything any of the resistance groups have like done at this point. Because like
they don't have the racial pride that like all the other places do, of like, or the nationalistic Japanese based pride. They elements of that is in their structure, but it's not about that. It is about justice.
And not only that, they're not just destroying things or doing these like really large scale. They're not like stealing government equipment. They're like going after these like side groups that aren't directly like out in the open affiliated with people. They're not doing anything to directly warrant military action against them in that moment.
Yeah.
They're not destroying a city or like having poison gas and like carting it around. They're like it's a lot more stealthy and very like in and out, so they can do it and like. And it's things that the public will support. So it's like, oh, they just went and killed all those like drug dealers and like guys that were doing this. Well, no one can really be that mad about it because, they were actively worsening society by hurting people and taking advantage of people. So like, you know what I mean? It's just...
It's so fucked up because not even Britannia is so... on point with this either, because like Cornelia at the start of the episode is like we're getting crushed in our war with the EU because they're like that's what they were doing in like India and shit or wherever the fuck they were in the Middle East. They're fighting. There's basically two other big superpowers. There's the EU and then there's the Chinese Federation. And the drug dealer guys who like got the shipment in of Refrain were just like, oh yeah, straight off or I think there were multiple mentions of it, that China is like importing and smuggling in all the drugs to fuck with the production of Britannia because Britannia wants to make Japan a satellite nation to combat the rest of the world so they can send stuff there, a bunch of bases in like the middle of the ocean and then send out from there and manufacture stuff from there. But if Japan's workforce, aka the Japanese people that they took over, are producing like shit because they're all hopped up on drugs that make them remember when their country was awesome. And then for the Chinese to like smuggle all that shit in, get all the populace addicted to it, very much like how Britain did to actual China in real life, with opium, and then China threw it all into the sea. It's very similar to that. And then for the Britannian, like populace, the upper middle class of like these business owners and stuff like that, oh, the money will be transferred to your wife's account. Cornelia doesn't care about this, blah, blah, blah. And then for the police force, members of the police force in a Britannian nation that doesn't want the Refrain to be like, it's just it again shows like the inner conflict that they're not even focused on the inside.
Did Cornelia at the start of this episode was talking about how they need to like get the Refrain under control so that they wouldn't go crazy. So then that's the other smart thing about the Black Knights being like, hey, we're gonna do, like, basically they're eliminating a problem for her much more quickly and effectively than she could have done herself, and she didn't need to do it, like, escalating it to the next level. So it's kind of weird because they're doing stuff, like, for her and against her, similar with the hostage situation. It's like, they've rescued her sister, and they eliminated the enemies, but... they're not on her side.
They're not trying going out of their way to antagonize and villainize them. They can do that themselves. They can be antagonists without the Black Knights, like, forcing them to be assholes. They're just assholes on their own. So why do that when you can get the public on your side?
It's just so much smarter because if you're in this weird gray area of not directly provoking the government and, like, in some ways kind of helping them out, but also helping out the people... it's like you're not a priority. They're not going to want to take you down if you are just not really a threat to them.
Right.
But although unless you go too far and then everyone is so much in favor of you that they stop being patriotic to their country, then you're the problem. Unless you can.
So yeah, these are a really big couple of episodes showing a lot of doubt and a lot of inner conflict these last two episodes with like Cornelia, the whole thing of emotions versus structured organizations and how you mingle between those, and then whether or not what you're doing is right, and then realizing that yes, what you're doing is absolutely right, in the grand scheme of things at the moment. But who knows what the fog of war will reveal about the Black Knights going forward. Leave a like and subscribe, everybody. Hope you guys like the long discussion. Hope you guys like these longer videos. Hope you guys enjoy. Check out Patreon to see the next ones right now.